when the city turns the color of tea, amber windows glowing, sidewalks sugared with fallen leaves, and puddles steeping like cups of cinnamon water, Mira takes the long way home. She isn't in a hurry. The rain has been falling since morning, soft and unbothered, and the streets look as though someone painted them with honey and smoke. She passes the usual corners, the bakery that always smells like apricot, the tailor who hums while he locks up, the florist who talks kindly to her marigolds before pulling the shutters closed. At the far end of Lantern Street, she notices a sign she's sure wasn't there yesterday. It swings gently on its hinges, shaped like a teacup with steam curling up in the form of a cat's tail. The door beneath it is narrow, the color of chestnuts left out in the rain. She hesitates for only a heartbeat before she pushes it open. Warmth greets her instantly. The air smells of cinnamon and baked pears, toasted oats and honey. Shelves line the walls, stacked with jars whose labels are written in looping handwriting. Breakfast blend, chamomile meadow, brown sugar chai, golden milk. There's a basket of knitted blankets by the door, and a cat curled up beside a stack of books as if guarding the secret of comfort itself. Behind the counter stands a person with leaf-brown eyes and gentle hands. "Evening," they say, smiling. "Wet out there?" "Just a little," Mira answers, unwrapping her scarf. "Does it always smell like dessert in here?" "Only when the day needs it," they reply. "You look like a fire seat person. Would you like the one near the hearth?" She nods gratefully. The chair by the fireplace looks older than memory, and the knitted throw draped over its arm feels like kindness itself. As she sits, the cat hops up to the next chair, blinks once, and begins to purr. The sound joins the soft crackle of the fire and the rhythmic patter of rain on the window. "I have just the thing," the shopkeeper says, setting a small kettle to boil. Hearth blend, black tea, cinnamon, roasted barley, and a touch of honey. It tastes like coming home after a long day. Mira laughs, a small, tired sound that already feels better for existing. When the tea arrives, it smells like calm itself. The first sip warms her in ripples, hands first, then chest, then the place just behind her eyes where all the week's noise had been living. Around her, the shop hums quietly with small lives. 2 university students share a plate of buttery scones with plum jam and laugh in whispers. Near the window, 2 older women trade crossword clues over a shared lemon drizzle cake. At the back, a man in a navy suit sits perfectly still, a briefcase tucked beneath his chair, staring into the middle distance as though he's finally found a pause that won't disappear. Mira breathes. It feels like the first real breath she's taken all week. On the wall above the fire is a blackboard with looping chalk letters. "Take a book, leave a thought." Beneath it, a notebook lies open. Someone has written, "Today, I learned you can be both tired and proud." The shopkeeper returns with a small plate. "House rule for first visits," they explain, placing it before her. A slice of honey loaf and a bit of brown sugar shortbread. You don't have to finish them, but you're allowed to. Mira takes a bite. The loaf is golden and soft, tasting of butter and warmth. The shortbread crumbles like something shyly sweet. They taste like someone baked care into them. The door opens and a little boy in a yellow raincoat enters, solemn as a knight. He carries a paper bag full of books. His mother follows, smiling apologetically. "We brought the library books back," he declares. "Excellent," says the shopkeeper. "The library dragon will be pleased." He points to a wicker basket marked "City Library Returns." A note taped above it reads, "If it's raining, any shop can be a library branch. We'll walk them back at closing." Mira can't help smiling as the boy sets the books down with both hands, reverent and careful. The shopkeeper rewards him with a tiny cup of hot chocolate topped with milk foam and nutmeg, and his delighted laugh becomes part of the shop's gentle music. After they leave, Mira looks toward the counter. "Do you really take library returns?" "Of course," the shopkeeper says. "Stories deserve shelter from the rain." They pour her a refill and add, "We also keep a repair box by the door. Buttons, torn gloves, little things that ask to be fixed. If you have anything frayed, you can leave it there." Mira smiles. "Do you mend thoughts?" "We pin them until they're ready to sew," they answer softly. Time doesn't stop in the tea shop. It just loosens its tie and sits a while. Mira wanders to the bookshelf and opens the notebook. She adds a line of her own. "I forgot how much better things taste when I'm not rushing." She dots the I with a tiny leaf and feels quietly accomplished. When she turns back, the shopkeeper is holding a shallow wooden drawer. Inside are small forgotten treasures, a ribbon stamped with stars, a single brass button, a folded tram ticket with "Call your sister" scribbled on the back. "This is our lost and kindly found box," they explain. "If something calls to you, it's yours. If not, it waits patiently." Mira studies the objects. Nothing insists. Everything seems content. She picks up the ribbon. "This one." "A good choice," the shopkeeper says. Ribbons know how to make things feel finished. She ties it around her wrist, smiling at its simplicity. The hours drift like gentle music. The rain outside softens to drizzle. A grandmother and her grandson come in laughing about a duck that chased them. The man in the suit quietly pays and leaves, shoulders lighter. The students finish their scones. The rosemary plant by the door gets its daily compliment from a woman in a red beret. Mira finds herself writing a letter at the small table by the window. The paper is thick, the pen smooth. She writes to an old friend she hasn't spoken to in years. "Hi. This isn't a big letter, just a warm one. I remembered the soup you made last October and how the bay leaves floated like tiny boats. I don't have news, exactly, just a thought of you, the good kind, and it made this day better." She signs her name and chooses a stamp with a small lighthouse. When she hands it over, the shopkeeper says, "We'll send it tomorrow. The city's kinder before noon." Later, as she sits by the fire again, she notices a chalk note on the wall. "If you lost a mitten, it misses you, but is warm and safe." Another says, "The rosemary likes compliments. Say one and take a sprig." She tells the plant it's doing a wonderful job being a small forest. Then she tucks a sprig in her pocket. When it's finally time to close, no one rushes. Chairs are tucked back, cups stacked neatly. The shopkeeper hands Mira a small brown paper package tied with string. "Kind evening," they say. Black tea with cinnamon and honey, and a few dried pear slices. It's what most people need and forget to ask for, and there's a little pear and cinnamon tart for the road. Mira tries to pay, but they shake their head. "You've already paid. You brought your day in exactly as it was. That's enough." She thanks them, truly, and steps outside. The rain has nearly stopped. The streets shine like ink under the lamplight. The city smells of bread, sugar, and wet leaves. She walks slowly, the ribbon around her wrist catching each golden reflection, the tea warm against her palm. At the bus stop, A stranger compliments her ribbon. She smiles, saying thank you all the way to her bones. When she finally reaches home, she boils water, chooses her chipped mug, the one mended with a line of gold, and brews the tea. The scent fills her apartment, quiet and sure. She sits by the window, eats half the tart, and watches the last drop slide down the glass. Somewhere far away, in a lane that may or may not exist tomorrow, the tea shop lights are dimmed. The cat curls by the hearth. The shopkeeper hums while drying cups and murmurs, "Another soul rested." The sign outside sways gently in the night breeze, unreadable once more. Maybe the resting hour, maybe the lantern's cup. It doesn't matter. The tea shop between hours waits quietly, patiently, for whoever needs it next.